Hello everyone, I'm Maurice Ashley, and I'm here at the FIDE World Championship Dubai 2021 held at the Dubai Exhibition Center as part of Expo Dubai. Well, in Game 8, we saw Jan Nepomniachtchi blunder a pawn, but no one in the world saw that he would follow up in Game 9 with a shocking blunder of an entire piece. It was simply a moment in World Championship history that no one will forget. His opponent, Magnus Carlsen himself, was incredibly shocked by the development. And in the end, it was an easy ride to victory as Magnus now takes a commanding lead of 6 points to 3. In Game 10, Jan will have the black pieces. That's already a tall order trying to defeat Magnus Carlsen, who is a machine when he has white. But will Jan be able to bounce back and get that psychological grit, determination, and toughness that it will require with only 5 games left in order to defeat the champion and make one of the most epic, storied comebacks in World Championship history? Later, we'll pay a visit to the Norwegian and Russian pavilions here at Expo, the two countries cheering on their two champions, as well as the Spanish pavilion that hosted a children's chess championship. And we'll hear from the famous Judith Polgar, the greatest female player in the history of chess. Let's get to Game 10.
Well, I'm intrigued. I'm excited. I think the mood is exciting for me more than the strategy of the game, because that is something I'm still learning.
It is very exciting to be here. I think the combination of Dubai, chess, Expo, world-class players, amazing weather, good food. It's super lively. It's super energetic. We've traveled here from London. My son's a chess player, and we're really, really enjoying it.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely excited because just Nepo's trajectory through coming through the candidates was actually very exciting to see some of his matches earlier. So I'm excited to actually see the finals this time around.
As a grandmaster, as a chess professional for many years, I have always learned to fight till the end. And I think we will see fighting till the end here as well. But I have to say that I am somewhat disappointed, as I expected tougher resistance. Like losing 2 games in 1 move, that's unforgivable. Like I said, for a grandmaster, let alone a world title challenger.
World Expos are about countries, and right now on our Expo 2020 site, we have 192 country pavilions and international organizations. This means we brought the whole world in one place on one platform for 6 months, a must-see. These guys have worked relentlessly for the past 5 years, if not more, to actually bring their pavilions to life. Let's take a look at our champions' pavilions. Here we are at the Norwegian pavilion. Now, Norway has chosen to talk about the oceans. Why the oceans? Because the ocean holds the key to many of the UN Sustainable Development Goals. How do we use our planet's resources, but yet preserve them and conserve them? This is why Norway is here, showcasing it in their pavilion. The fact is, by 2050, there might be more plastic than fish in the sea. And this is why Norway is a pioneer in technology-based sustainable solutions for the ocean within energy, aquaculture, fisheries, shipping, and the whole maritime sector. And let's move on to our next pavilion. Here we are at the glorious pavilion of Russia. Now, Russia tells the tale of their scientific innovations of the past, but that's not it. They also take a look at how modern Russia and their modern creative minds are driving the future. Let's take a look inside. Russia is showcasing the eternal process of cognition, learning, and understanding our world to try and make it better. As you can see, the dome behind me has plenty of tiny tubes that are multicolored, and if you put them one after the other, they actually reach 46 kilometers. Pretty impressive.
Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Maurice Ashley, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to Game 10 of the FIDE World Championship Dubai 2021. With the white pieces, from Norway, the world champion, Magnus Carlsen. Playing with the black pieces, the challenger, from Russia, Jan Nepomniachtchi. Representing FIDE, the deputy FIDE president, Bashar Kouatly. And a history maker, the first Emirati female race car driver, Amna Al Kubaisi. Amna will be making the first move for Magnus. And with that, let the game begin. Game 10 of the World Championship underway as Magnus has kept this move pawn to e4, and Nepo replying with the move pawn to e5. That stopped Magnus just momentarily, as this move is known to be very solid, but Nepo should need a win, or should be looking for a win. Down 3 points, Magnus just briefly paused there, probably not expecting Nepo to play so solidly, and he's continued in solid fashion with the Petrov's defense, sometimes known as the Russian defense. This is not the kind of move you want to play if you want to play for victory. Is Nepo trying to shut the game down and play for a draw and take his chances with the white pieces in the next game? There he goes, attacking the knight. We expect the knight to drop back, normally goes back to the square f3. And Magnus has placed it on d3. This line has some tricks in it, but it has a reputation of being very drawish. So are both sides looking for draws, as now Nepo is just taking this pawn? Are they looking for a draw? That is, knight takes on e4, and Magnus now bringing his queen to e2, attacking the knight. The knight is pinned, it cannot move because there's a king behind it, but the standard and only move here that makes any sense is queen to e7, and there's Nepo playing it. We are seeing very solid play by both parties right now, and Magnus reaching for the knight, knight to f4. This is all standard theory to this point. A very tricky move here is to bring the knight off the back rank and go to c6. But he has retreated with knight to f6, offering a trade of queens. That will simplify the game dramatically if that happens. Whose favor is it in? Normally in black's favor to get a draw, but Nepo is in a desperate state right now. Magnus playing the move d4, not trading queens just yet. And now the move knight to c6. That looks different. That looks like the first new move of this line. Knight to c6. He's got Magnus pausing for just a moment. This is attacking a pawn on d4. This gives Magnus a chance to spice things up. Will he go for the knockout and try to win a third game in a row?
Chess is hugely a psychological sport. Psychology is a big part of it. But in a match, I think it's like 10 times more than a tournament. It's a lot at stake. The whole world is watching you. And of course, your character traits going to be shown on the board and during the match. And also, what is your mind of state? How can you handle loss? How can you move on from your mistakes? Of course, this is the biggest problem, that when you have to handle with your own mistakes, your own shortages, where everybody knows what is that. And you have to face it, and you have to be extremely honest to yourself to be able to change on that. And I think it was known for everybody that for Nepo it is possible that psychologically he can go down, because we've seen him playing 1 or 2 games badly in a tournament, and then you saw that he was frustrated. It just couldn't handle it. And this is something which I think happens here also, that in game 6 it was the game of the match, clearly. It was huge. He made mistakes which is possible to make, but it's very difficult for a chess player to forgive to ourselves and not to think about it continuously, that why did I make this? If, if. So for that, you have to have a very stable background and mental preparation.
Nepo has a chance. He has a chance, but it's very slim. And you can see today he played Petrov, and Petrov is mostly he wants to come back. He doesn't want a series of defeats to continue. So he wants to stop the defeats first, maybe win something with white, and then maybe do something better. But until now, in numbers, he still has a chance. But if you're betting on it, I won't.
When I'm here and I will see Magnus play, I think there's a sense of me following up, and I'm intrigued to find out more about him and probably go watch some more games with him later. Yeah.
The world champion has been thinking for some time after Nepo's new knight move, and he knows he doesn't want to take any real risk in this game, and Nepo gets up for the first time in this game. He had been sitting at the board looking like he was making a concerted effort to sit at the table instead of getting up as he usually does on every single move. And Magnus now playing the move pawn to c3. He could have brought his bishop into the game to protect his pawn. That would have been a sharper way to play as we see Nepo coming back. But this move allows the queen trade to still happen, and that keeps the margin of safety. And instantly the move pawn to d5, getting space in the center of the board. This equalizes the chances pretty much, and Magnus playing his knight to d2, developing his piece, getting it into the action. This is not a very aggressive posture by the champ, and he's now the one to get up from the table. But it doesn't look as though he has many active chances. He's got to watch out because Nepo will look for his own chances as well. But this knight move, knight retreating backwards, it looks like he's going to come back out to the game and offer more trades. This game is turning into an exchange fest. More and more trades will make it easier for the draw, but Nepo doesn't need a draw. He needs to win. We see Magnus there bringing his knight to the f3 square, and that knight now on a great square. It was on the back row, but now it's moved, made a couple of moves, and now it's in the game. And we've got to see what Nepo plans to do, and he's trading queens. This was kind of hard to avoid. This favors Magnus Carlsen. The more pieces come off the board, the easier it's going to be for him to make a draw. He's only got to make 3 draws to win the entire match. And now the bishop coming out to d6. This does not look like a winnable position for Nepo. What is he going to try to do to make the game sharp, to make it exciting, to make it aggressive so that he can have some good chances to win? Magnus is thinking, no way, let me get my king to safety. This game settling down very much into solid territory as Nepo also castles there. I don't know what either side is going to try. This game has been proceeding at a pace that Magnus loves. He's getting no complications on the board. He's just shutting everything down, and he's looking for more and more exchanges. And there he goes, rook to e1, saying, let's trade off more pieces. The less pieces you have, the easier it's going to be for me to make a draw, and I will close in on the magical 7.5 points I need to win the match. He's got 6 points right now. A draw is a virtual disaster for Nepo, but he's feeling the weight of the world on his shoulders at the moment. How is he going to spice things up in this position? Magnus has him completely on lockdown.
The yellow and red cones you see behind me are the marvelous Spanish pavilion. Now, in line with the Expo's theme of connecting minds, creating the future, Spain has decided to talk about intelligence for life. And they're showcasing their amazing heritage and culture, which is, by the way, deeply rooted within the Arab world. The Spain pavilion also wanted to use and maximize the enormous potential of chess to develop intelligence, promote coexistence. They did so by organizing the World Online School Chess Tournament, where more than 2,600 children from 54 countries have participated. This is the Sports and Wellness Hub, right next to the Australian Pavilion. Now this is where the fun happens. You have all types of tournaments happening here. You can see the chess tables behind me, but we're right now on a football pitch, and behind me is a basketball court. And we even had the Harlem Globetrotters here present a month ago playing. We hope to see you with us very soon. Come enjoy the fun.
Magnus does not give his opponents an inch, and he kind of forces his opponents to bring the fight to him in different ways across the chessboard. So that, I think, is very exciting to watch again, and that's why I think that's what actually puts him at GOAT status for me.
Magnus will try to see what he can do. I think he's content with drawing it till the end. It leads him to where he wants to be, defend his title. But if he senses blood, he will go for it. And he's a poacher. He's a hunter. So if he does sense that Nepo is blundering or missing moves, he will go for it.
Jan Nepomniachtchi in a difficult position as he's got a solid game. Magnus is happy to see more and more exchanges. A draw looking closer and closer, making it more inevitable. And there he goes, exchanging off a pair of rooks. But that just simplifies the position in a way that favors the world champion as Magnus races back to the board. There's only one real move here, and that is to capture that rook, and he has done so. These trades don't look good for Jan, and there he goes. He's offering more trades. Knight to e6. That's just going to deaden an already dead position. And Magnus says, thank you so much. I'm happy to trade off more and more pieces. You're not going to beat the world champion playing this kind of minimalist, frankly, boring, tepid chess. He's just too good. I'm not sure why Nepo looks so calm. Down 3 points in the match at the moment, and Magnus playing that move G3, saying this is my championship to lose. If he plays solidly, Nepo should have no chance. After that pawn move to G3, the game has proceeded solidly, and right now Jan Nepomniachtchi just has very little to play for, and he makes a soft pawn move as well. Very solid indeed. We haven't seen these guys be aggressive at all, but there's Magnus chasing that knight with that pawn. Pawn to G4, attacking the knight on the side. Easy to resolve this threat. Knight back to G7, but I think this is going to allow Magnus to do what he wants, and that is to offer a trade of bishops. And there he goes, his bishop now attacking Black's bishop and saying, hey, you want to trade off more pieces or back down? Well, Nepo decides not to back down, but instead does trade, helping Magnus's cause, as the more trades, the merrier. And Nepo's going to have to figure out some kind of aggression, some kind of attacking move that gives him some chances. That's not bad. G5, pawn to G5, attacking the knight. The knight could take the bishop, but it wouldn't be a great trade this time, and Magnus doesn't fall for the trick. In that case, that knight for that bishop would have allowed an imbalance that would have favored Black, and so Nepo didn't trick Magnus, but look at this. Pawn to F5. First, the pawn on G5 attacked the knight, now the pawn on F5, creating some dynamic chances. It doesn't look like much, but Nepo is trying to squeeze blood from a stone, and Magnus has to be careful right now. Magnus has been thinking for some time now, trying to make sure that there's no danger here in the position. It seems like he has a very simple move, and he's played it, the pawn to h3. That's a very solid move, protecting his pawn, and he knows that he has this game under control. Nepo is the one who is in trouble, trying to make something active occur, and Jan back at the board, knowing that this is probably his last chance to make any kind of complications, but whatever he has tried, it's been shut down by Magnus, and he's played the move king to f7. That doesn't look like much. That just looks like a solid move. Nepo's face tells the story that he doesn't have much of a chance here, and Magnus knows that if he just keeps playing a couple of safe moves, Nepo will have nothing. And Nepo walking away from the board once more. He's got that hangdog look. Like, dude, what am I supposed to do when this guy is as good as he is and keeps shutting down all my attempts? And Magnus now ready to move his rook, and he swung his rook all the way over to h1. Looks like he's preparing potential attacks on that side, maybe an h4 break. But Magnus, as cool as the other side of the pillow, looking very relaxed right now, totally in command of this position, while Nepo is just struggling to find something to do. We've seen a number of trades in this game, and it's just going down to nothing. Whatever Nepo has tried has not worked in this game. Maybe he wanted to draw all along and have this go to the next game with him with the white pieces. Maybe that's been his strategy. Magnus Carlsen seems content to defend with the black pieces in the next game, and we see the rook going down, and there goes a check, offering a trade of rooks. Magnus may not trade, he might move his king, but I think he will just trade. Why not? Just trade off more pieces, continuing this policy of simplifying the game, and we see quick trades there. Knights, two knights on the board, pawns on the same side. This position looks dead drawn. You see Nepo's face saying, there's nothing here. And Magnus can make his next move, and they're after move 40, so Magnus can offer a draw. And he has done so, and Nepo has accepted. The game is drawn. Game 10 is in the books. And Jan Nepomniachtchi has only 4 more games to try to close the 3-point gap. This is a very difficult position for him, no question about it. Give Magnus all the credit, as he looks like he has a lock on this match.
At this point, I mean, there's so few games to go that any draw is, yeah, it's an excellent result.
The problem that basically playing as black, you don't have such a big choice, and I mean, especially it's classical. Even if you play so-called sharp opening like Sicilian, if white wants to shut it down, white surely.
Thank you for that. That concludes the press conference. Tomorrow is a rest day. The next game will be on Friday at 16:30. Thank you, everyone, and have a great night.